Hello, good evening, my fellow FTFLers. It is I, Brett, the 2014 third place champion, the 2003 FTFL champion, and the proud owner of the Macho Madness. Now, today, I bring to you something brand new for the first time ever. The FTFL Weekly Update. Now, I am in my 25th year of fantasy football, and the FTFL celebrating its 15th year of existence this year. 15 years. Now, that was the old FTFL, because the new FTFL, no. It is the wild, wild west. We've added points per reception, well, half points. We have a whole extra spot in the roster on the lineup. Man, that adds up to points. Unless, of course, you were myself or Adam Swart, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Each week, I'm going to break down this week's, or the past week's games, give some analysis on players that maybe should have played, high spots, low spots, some key matchup points. We're going to get into, later on, the stud of the week. We're going to get into my dud of the week. I'm going to give you 1 solid minute on just any topic that I feel like talking about. This week's a good one. It pertains to something the league is talking about right now. I'm going to finish up with a little bit of the DSOM award update, kind of see if there's someone that should be nominated for something, and then I will wrap it up with next week's matchups. I hope you enjoy it. I got lots of notes right here, so I think we're going to go ahead and get started. First off, a game between, not so much I guess what you'd call rivals, so to speak, because in any rivalry, both teams have to be winning. Ryan Deesum, Cities and Balls, over the Architect. Past record, 15 wins for Deesum, 4 wins for Matt. This week, Deesum won, and he won big. 133.5 to 88.5, the 45-point difference. Now, that's a lot of points, but not quite as many points differential as we'll see coming up. Deesum's team had a strong showing from Andrew Luck, even though his Colts, of course, lost. D'Angelo Williams, huge night. But how long is that going to last? And Jordan Matthews had an above-average week, too. Did not get much help. I guess, really, that wasn't the case for anybody. Because this whole team scored points. I guess Alan Hearns, we can pick on Alan Hearns, had only 6 points. That was his team low, 6 points. We're going to find out that 6 points beat 3 players combined. Later on, the Architect, on the other hand, 3 running backs combined for 18.5 points. That's less than both of Deesum's running backs' single scores. Now, we did have a nice day from Calvin Benjamin. Decent one from Eli Manning, too. 32 points from Jameis Winston on the bench. Not that that would have made any difference, but it's got to give him some hope heading into week 2. Next up, Pack Attack versus the Radioactive Monkeys. Pretty split right down the middle in their series history. 7-6-1 is the overall record, with Eric holding a slight edge. And it was a slight edge that Eric got beat by this week, 89 to 80.5 points. If you're the Radioactive Monkeys, you got to be excited that 20 points from 3 running backs, helped by 2 decent weeks from his receivers. That's actually not what this says here. 20 points showing from 3 running backs. So 3 running backs, 20 points combined. Actually, that's not that great. We saw better. Also, his defense chipped in 12 points. If your defense scored 12 points a week, that's actually not that bad at all. On the other hand, the Pack Attack, Eric brought out the Breeze Buzzsaw. It has been a while since we've seen the Breeze Buzzsaw, but man, 36 points, 4 touchdowns, 400 yards. We'll get into that in a little bit here. But again, to no avail. It's about no one else on his team scored more than 11 points by themselves. The bench wouldn't have helped really a whole lot either. It could have been a drubbing. I mean, this was a pretty close game, but Salty left Theo Riddick, who scored 20.5 points, and Willie Snead, who matched that on his bench. Could have been a full-on blowout. Next up, Adam Swartz, I'm Hung versus Sid's Comerica Industries. Now, Comerica holds a slight edge of a 7-5 over Adam Swart in the history of the league, but this go-round, it wasn't even close. Comerica beat I'm Hung 114.5 to 51.5, 63-point difference, which is the highest of the week. 51.5 points short is the lowest of the week. Again, his team seemingly did not get the memo when it came to more points this year. Everyone had a good week for the Comerica Industries. Only 2 players on his entire starting lineup scored under 10 points. Jordan Reed had 7.5, and Des Bryant, 0.5. More on him later. if you are Adam Swart, you know, there wasn't, not a whole lot that really went right at all. 4 players scored under 4 points. That's going to add up to not a whole lot of victories if you keep that up. Some help on the bench. Fitzgerald had a nice 29-point night, but it wasn't nearly enough to get it done this week. On a side note, he's going to be without Keenan Allen for the entire rest of the season, which is going to be a big blow. I know plans going forward were to have him every week in the lineup, but not so much anymore. Next up, before we get to the last couple games here, I'm going to go ahead and take a break right now to give you my 1 good minute. I'm just going to set my little clock here so we know that's exactly 1 minute. While I'm doing this, if you want to go ahead and take a look at my 3rd place trophy or my FTFL Championship plaque that I had made, by all means. Alright, I'm setting this and here we go. So, the IR. Big to-do right now over how are we supposed to use the IR. Are we using it the way we used to use it? Has it changed because the way the league reports injuries changed? Everyone kind of has their own thoughts and feelings. Can we put suspended players on the IR? We voted. We voted to update our practices from using the Thursday injury report to the official injury report on Friday, given out by the NFL, and that's that. That's what we agreed upon. Now, I know the site allows for some other things to happen, but that's not the point. The point is that we, as a league, voted. When you vote, you get your say. Even if it didn't end up the way you wanted it, you still had your say, and it was one thing. It was the way it went through. Now, I know you might have to check another site, but what it says on Friday should be what we have to go with. No ifs, ands, or buts. You just go with it this year. Sure, let's next year add a extra roster spot. Get rid of the IR altogether. Fine by me. But it was a rule we voted on, and we need to follow it. Alright, that's my timer. That's been 1 good minute. On to the last couple games of the week. I suppose we should probably talk about my game. I'm not overly excited if I could find it in all my notes. Oh, here it is, right here. Alright. Linkowitz, Macho Madness. 16 wins for Linkowitz, 15 wins for Macho Madness. This one is about as dead even as you can get, and of course not have it be quite even. And it was the closest game of the week. 71.5 points for Linkowitz, 67.5 for me. Coming out on the losing end, week 1 is never fun. And there isn't a whole lot to really, I guess, look up for right now. Linkowitz, 2 players on his team over 15, only 2. 1 was his kicker, and 1 was his defense. Now, I did criticize John about picking the Vikings defense in the draft, and it apparently came back to bite me. Hopefully not next time. He only, though, had 5 total points on his bench, so this wasn't going to get much better for John. As far as I go, I had 6.5 combined points from my tight end, my kicker, and my defense. 6.5 from 3 positions. Ugly. Now, I could have started Deshaun Jackson over Sammy Watkins. I wasn't going to, but I could have, and I would have won this week. It's the only could have won in the entire league this week. Now on to the final game, and this is a big one, because not only do we have a lot of points scored, but we had the all-time single-game point record broken by Jeff Marks, or the old record, 137, by Andy from 2014. Has fallen. The new record, 138. I mean, that is an absolute pile of points. His 2 wide receivers combined for 53 points. His 3 running backs combined for 52 points. That is 105 points between 5 players. Holy moly. And with all that, he still had a 0 on his roster from Gary Barnidge. Unbelievable. Bazinga, you can't ask for much more than 108 points. A.J. Green, 28 points. Can anyone guard A.J. Green? Anybody? Oh my goodness. Duke Johnson, 3.5 points. Could have played Danny Woodhead, 16.5. Would have been, a 13-point swing, but still not enough to beat Jeff. If you're Andy, you're hoping for Bell to come back. You're wondering, is Thomas Rawls going to be the guy in Seattle? This is all, let's be honest, it's week 1. And so you be excited for the victory, you be disappointed in the loss, but you can't get too bent out of shape. I'm a little disappointed in Jeff Markser. He was talking smack to me via the text machine last night. Nothing on the website today. You owe it to all of us, Jeff. Come on, get on that. Alright, so I'm going to give you now, before we wrap this up, my stud of the week, Drew Brees, 36 points. Just one last time. He was on my team once. You may know this. I traded a second-round draft pick for him, and he went on to be the greatest fantasy football player ever. Again, 400 yards, 4 touchdowns in a losing effort, but still my stud of the week. The dud of the week, Dez Bryant, a first-round pick, number 3 overall, 0.5 points. Now, it didn't matter. Sid still got the victory. But wow, first-round pick, 0.5 points. That is just not going to get it done. Decent update this week. I guess if we're going to pick nits, Deshaun Jackson over Sammy Watkins could have got me the win. I guess if I missed the playoffs by a game, then it comes back to this. But it's early. It's not a huge blunder, but it's all I could find. Next week, here are the matchups we're looking at as we get ready for week 2. The Architect will take on Pack Attack. Radioactive Monkeys will go up against Comerica, industries who have a long history against each other, back and forth, multiple titles for each franchise. Should be a good game there. Mana takes his record-breaking performance to face Linkowitz. Pray for John. Bazinga is taking on Hung, and in one of the most lopsided rivalries in FTFL history will be renewed next week when the Macho Madness take on Ryan Deesum's Titties and Balls. Here's hoping I can finally break the streak. One last shout out. Got my Brian Dozer cup here. 40 home runs. Only you and Harmon. That's amazing, brother. This has been the FTFL Weekly Update. I hope you enjoyed it. Join me next week because we're going to do it all over again. Good luck. Best to you. We'll catch you next time.